I'm really happy just being mediocre. It's really good just kind of getting up in the morning and just kind of, right? They do it because it's what they know and we've allowed them to do it. They underperform because we haven't challenged them in a way that's meaningful for them, right? So your job is to have coaching conversations with them individually and collectively to get them to answer their own questions about what it feels like to basically be mediocre without ever calling them mediocre, right? You have and walk the walk and make sure that they see you being consistent and balanced and in your true alignment, which we'll talk about more, being in your true alignment. And the whole time you're doing that, you're having real conversations with them about what needs to happen. And there's nothing wrong with saying, look, we need to be really frank here. We're failing. As a group, we're not meeting the expectations. And for me, it doesn't feel very good. How's it feel for you? And then just be quiet. And just listen to what they have to say. It doesn't feel good for me to be losing, to be failing in what the expectations are. And then they might have a conversation about, are the expectations realistic? Because sometimes they are in organizations and sometimes they just aren't, and we know that. People like to, let's set the bar up here so we can frustrate everyone on the team, because it feels really good to do that. I mean, it's totally absurd. Organizations need to set bars that are challenging and interesting, but not going to stress people out. So you have to evaluate are they, and maybe that's where you start. Maybe the conversation is, are our targets realistic? Let's have and why do we think they're realistic or not realistic? And let's not talk about excuses. Let's just have a general conversation about the targets. And be honest about, it doesn't feel good to me to fail. It feels kind of yucky, right? How's it feel for you? And be quiet and really listen to what they say. Oh, I like to fail, it's okay. Mediocre's good. You know, nobody's going to say that. But it's how you ask the question and you make it about them. You don't make it about you and the way that you sold. You're not a salesperson anymore. You're leading the sales team. So you need to make it, and it'll be different for every single person on your sales team. It'll be different. And that seems like a lot of work. You mean I have to intimately get to know every single one of my salespeople and what makes them tick? Yep, that's your job. That is, as a leader, that's your role. We think the leader's role is meeting the productivity numbers, making sure production happens on time, blah, 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 blah. That's not the leader's role. That's the result of good leadership, is that organically happens. But it's because they've actually engaged the employee in a meaningful way for them, not for the leader. So it has everything to do with the leader and nothing to do with the leader. Change your conversations. Change your conversations. Make it about them. Ask really. Don't. Here's the other thing. And I can't, today's not the leadership day. But the bottom line is, you need to make the assumption they want to be super successful, so think really positively about each one. They all want to be successful and make lots of money. 2, and you might have 1 or 2 on the team that don't, but you want to make the positive assumption that they do. You want to start asking really critical questions from them and really believe they have the answers, because they do. Stop giving the answers. We believe our job is to direct, lead, manage, facilitate, and give the answers. It's not our job. Our job is to get them to seek the answers on their own. So we ask good questions. Leadership is about 90% about asking good questions, seeking to understand what makes that person tick, so then you can find the right way to work with that person so that they become a high performer.